The views of this proceeding are not those of the station or network. I, Jashay Miller, am exercising my constitutional right number 925 that enables every citizen at any time to bring an elected official to the opinion of the public in the execution of his duty. Welcome to Politics, Integrity, and the Truth. Previously, I, Jashay Miller, was on cable with evidence of corruption in the United States Supreme Court and President Bush's refusal to do his duty of enforcing the law which warrants his impeachment under Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution. This Section 3 are the duties and responsibilities of the President, which states he shall, meaning must take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Also, remember, he is bound by oath of office to support this Constitution. A petition for executive order was sent to President George W. Bush by me and then Congressman Brad Ellsworth, notifying him my freedom was taken without due process. The petition was executed by the Bill of Rights, which no just government can refuse or rest on inference. Inference means the fact that they are in power. Issues besides being denied the inalienable rights all men are created equal, guaranteed right by the Bill of Rights, and a federal crime committed by Judge David Kiley under Title 18, Section 243, and dereliction of duty by former United States Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor and John Paul Stevens, whose duty it is, when addressed in a habeas corpus petition, should be alert to examine the facts for him or herself. When, if true as alleged, they make the trial absolutely void and release the petitioner from the illegal restraint, which brings us to the court's motive for corruption, which was to cover up the federal crime committed by an official and deny $10 million in reparation for the illegal restraint. Congress made it a crime for a public official to exclude anyone from a grand or petit jury on the basis of race, because such exclusion would violate the express prohibitions of the Equal Protection Clause. The crime and the unconstitutional state action occur whether the defendant is white or black, whether he is acquitted or convicted. A crime has occurred. The Constitution states no one is above the law, but President Bush refuses to enforce the law when officials violate the law. As you can see in this letter to me, Mr. Miller, from the White House, he doesn't have time in his schedule to do his responsibility and duty to execute the law and uphold the Constitution as he has taken an oath to do. This is what the media kept from the people to keep him in office. The United States Supreme Court usurped a power denied government under Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution involving the habeas corpus, because its main purpose is to speedily release citizens held in violation of the Constitution and laws of the United States. I was specifically held in violation of constitutional law number 250.2 with 4 in parentheses, which provides every black man has a right under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, United States Code of America, that in the selection of jurors to pass on his life, liberty, or property, there shall be no exclusion of his race and no discrimination against them because of his color. This violates the 13th and 14th Amendments. So in addition to corruption, they are practicing slavery. Again, the Bill of Rights is what no just government can refuse or rest on inference. The crime is against the peace and the dignity of the United States and is at war with democracy. So officials are no longer running a democracy. A person who helps someone so that he is not held accountable for his actions of breaking the law is aiding and abetting a criminal from justice. Evidence of the crime and corruption was sent to United States Attorney General Michael Mukasey in March and April, but he refuses his duty, and now it has been sent to FBI Director Robert Mueller. Also, Special Assistant to the President for Cabinet Liaison Ross M. Kyle was faxed and asked to remind President George Walker Bush that he needs to address the petition before he leaves office. Oh, the Ethics Committee also has been notified. When the Ethics Committee is corrupt, you're not running a democracy. Press Secretary Dana Perino won't inform the public, and all are playing their part in aiding and abetting an official from justice who is now running for judge. David Cowley has committed a crime under Title 18 to take a citizen's freedom under pretense, violating the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery and the 14th Amendment due process. And now he wants you to vote for him as a judge.
How do you compare this election to the past election?
But George W. Bush entered the United States into a war fueled by lies, as there never was no weapons of mass destruction found, and a vote for McCain will continue to do the same thing. George Bush is responsible for the deaths of our American soldiers, and a vote for McCain will continue for mothers and all their tears and the nightmares too. President George Bush refuses to uphold the integrity of the Constitution, has diminished the guaranteed rights of the Constitution to nothing, and a vote for McCain will continue to do the same thing. We're prisoners in our own home.
Do you think John McCain will continue the war, being a POW, a former prisoner of war?
Well, McCain was a prisoner of war and accepted preferential treatment. The rich get richer and the poor stay poor, denying our rights and belittling we the people of the United States. Bush is going to endorse McCain because McCain is going to continue the corrupt policies of the Bush administration. In one breath, Bush admits the wrongdoings of slavery and in his actions refuses to do his number one duty, enforcing the law to prevent slavery right here in our own country, which supposedly had been abolished. A vote for McCain and they continue the same thing, above the law and not being held accountable for their own actions. You saw Scooter Libby, found guilty, but he don't serve no time. You saw Dick Cheney, shoot and leave a man for dead, but no charges filed. Ice-T was in this movie, The Rabbit Without a Gun. You see the movie, it's attempted murder. With Bush, you done 8 years and ought to be full of it. It was a time when America was the hero riding in on the white horse, defending the right to freedom, justice, and democracy. Now, we the most hated country on the planet. France said the war was for oil, and it is what it is.
What do you think about the current gas crisis and how should it be handled?
Well, did you read in Time magazine? Oil producers buying their own oil to keep the prices up. We've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. Now, we just went through this thing with Ike. And before it even landed or touched or did anything, the prices had already jumped up $1. So we just being force-fed a bunch of lies and being robbed at the same time. Now, the price of oil don't affect the rich, but we the people suffer the consequences. Now, Obama come in with a change for the better, but without integrity and the foundation of the Constitution, what does it matter? Michelle Obama was given knowledge of corruption in the United States Supreme Court and sleeping with Barack Obama. You think she informed her husband, which is speculation. If it's change you can believe in, it must have integrity. They said Moses was great in word and actions. Today we call that talking that talk and walking that walk. We as Americans have been sold out to the highest bidder. From TVs to cars to toilet paper and beer. Budweiser's no longer the king, no longer owned here. Have you checked the tag on that you just bought? Made in America is an afterthought.
So what are you saying we should do?
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Change direction with your vote. Stand up and be counted. They got to be accountable for what they done, and you got to be accounted